From the creators of Mercury Theatre Podcast comes Universe 25. Listeners' discretion is advised. Previously on Universe 25.
The document you and Nicholas found was an invaluable artifact.
Callan is the very first civilization that we know of to have been created subsurface.
We've had several people explore the surface, and they would always come back sick.
This is Founder-era shit.
You're the key to the city's advancement.
I didn't realize Callan needed saving.
It most certainly does.
You clearly need to get back on your dailies.
Are you ready to change the course of history?
Isn't marriage and slavery synonymous?
We have followers willing to die for the Chiesa. The governors are going to evict anyone who chooses to benefit the Chiesa in some manner. This is all for the greater good of Callan.
Nicholas.
Dawkins, I suggest we not make this situation any more fragile than it already is.
She does not care much for you.
Nor I for her.
Is there something we should know?
What happened?
They cut us off. They don't want to have us convert anyone else to the Chiesa.
Please!
My family, we have nowhere to go. Please show mercy. Please.
We're being punished for disregarding the laws of Callan. Do you know there are people outside who never even contemplated joining the Chiesa?
I wish I never found that tunnel.
Me too.
Governor Erngard.
I am hereby resigning my position as one of the 10 governors.
We have decided to christen you the Sovereign Right First Father.
Justice, Julius. Honor, Erngard.
You treat them like they were some ancient gods deserving of worship. You're a smart kid, Ares. But you're fucking up. I'm leaving. I should have left long ago. Nicholas is bad news. And if you don't lockstep with him, you may find yourself getting removed altogether.
He was dragging us down anyway. He saw our little party and got jealous we didn't give him a title too.
I honestly don't think it was anything like that. I think he's right. We got caught up in the moment the other day with the new titles, while the rest of the Chiesa is still in pain.
You know that's not how it happened.
It's easily how it could be construed.
But it isn't what happened.
We need to be in damage control right now, instead of acting like this isn't what happened.
Who do you think you are?
I'm the guy you asked to be at your right hand. The professor is gone, and we both know there are hundreds of people out there who hold him in high esteem.
Who do you think told the governors not to consider you for the university recommend?
I wasn't up for the university recommend.
I wouldn't be so quick to assume that, Mr. Sovereign Right. You were up for recommendation. I saw the letter myself. The governors were just about to vote when the professor told them that you weren't worth the education.
That isn't true.
I wish it wasn't. I wish you had gone to the university with me. You could have been an engineer like you wanted, but the professor fucked it up for you. And it wasn't a simple matter of saying not to invite you to the university. He went to the governors and told them you couldn't hack it.
You're lying again.
Ares, buddy. I wouldn't lie to you. I know in the past I've twisted things to my advantage, but lie to you? You insult me.
Prove it.
I cannot. I only saw the letter and heard what happened.
Then why are you waiting until just now to tell me, huh?
You were the professor's friend. I didn't want to spoil that for you.
You've been wanting to spoil my friendship a long time now.
Petition on it.
I'm not petitioning shit. Your religious bullshit doesn't work on me. I was there when we found the cave, remember? You can use your petitioning with the rest of the Chiesa, but I stuck around because I see the ultimate good that comes of the Chiesa. Or should I say came of the Chiesa. Right now, Callan is falling apart at the seams, and it appears you're happy to just push it to destruction, just so you can say you made a difference.
Ares. Ares, I'm sorry. You're right. The Chiesa is tearing us apart. We found something decent to strive for, and we find ourselves letting something good be divisive.
Look around you, Nicholas. There's no good here. Look out there. People who lived in comfort are now living in an open field with no more than a backpack's worth of stuff. You see that? Callan hasn't known poverty until just recently, and that's our fault.
You're wrong, Ares. Come with me. The Chiesa has had destructive elements, but that isn't the fault of the Chiesa. That has been the governors who did that. But there's much more to the Chiesa than poverty. Do you see that woman over there? Or him? You know what they're experiencing for the first time in their lives? Happiness, Ares. They're happy! Did you know Lotta didn't know how to cook until she came out here to the fields?
Excuse me? Is your name Lotta?
It is an honor to meet you, Sovereign Right and First Father. An honor.
Did you learn how to cook?
Just recently. I always wanted to learn how, but our food was always made for us.
That is true. Thank you, Lotta. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, so you know the name of someone and something they've been doing. That doesn't mean much.
Not much? Tell you what, I know him too. His name is Christoph. He used to be an active working with the governors. He joined the Chiesa in the 3rd month 2 rotations ago. Said there was no hope of tomorrow, and every day was just a mere extension of the last day. That man over there, in with the goats, he was an active too. He repaired mechanical bots. A mechanical bot mechanic, as it were. He said he likes to live among the living far more than his past life. Look around you, Ares. Do you see poverty? I don't. I see hope. I see happiness. Your pessimism is toxic, and you need to take a breath of what's around you. This is a future we can believe in. If there's a little mythology that helps people find that joy, can it really be all that bad? Here, people mean something to each other and to themselves. Over there in the city, it's simply an existence. Leona!
Hey, boys, what are you doing outside? If too many people find you out here, there will be a mob in no time.
I love being with the people of the Chiesa.
And they love you. Maybe a bit too much. Let's get you inside.
We'll be right in. You see what I'm saying, though, Ares? It isn't about me. It's not about you. It's about them. Do you think you could put your pride aside for a day or two and smell the roses?
I don't see how we went from each other's throats to us talking about roses and goats.
Goats would eat roses, if they could.
That's what I hear. Leona's right. Come on, let's get inside before the mob of people expect your autograph or something.
Chapter 5. Breakdown.
I finally get to meet the Modest Assembly?
Come on, it's not that special. They're essentially a bunch of bean counters.
They're quite possibly the most secretive and influential group of 4 people that exist right now.
You and I are the most influential people in all of Calland right now. They don't make the decisions, we do.
You mean you do?
The Modest Assembly is a group of people who help make sure the Chiesa runs without too many hiccups.
You know, humanity's progressed so far, and yet we haven't figured out a cure for hiccups.
I know! They're the worst. Modest Assembly, I would like to formally introduce you to the one and only Sovereign Right Ares. Ares, this is the Modest Assembly. 5 members, and I believe you know Honorable Irmgard already.
Welcome, Ares. It is a pleasure to finally meet you.
You mean to tell me Irmgard has met the Assembly before I ever did?
I'm the one who proposed the Modest Assembly, Ares. Might I remind you that...
Honorable Irmgard, please. Ares, the Chiesa has been thriving only because of the Modest Assembly. While you and I focus on the big picture, it's this assembly of bookkeepers who focus on the day-to-day. Without their finer details, none of our focus would have come to fruition. We honestly owe them a great debt of gratitude.
Why have you kept me out of the loop then, if all it is a simple gathering of mathematicians?
We should discuss this later, but the simple fact is that you're here now. I think you deserve to know who makes this all actually possible. Can we talk about this later and move on?
I can't just...
Aries, I promise. Later, please. Make yourself comfortable. We need some professional courtesy, decorum, and input. Everyone, please make yourselves comfortable. I apologize for the minor misunderstanding on our part. Please take into consideration all your concerns and suggestions, recognizing the sovereign right is in attendance.
No, please, talk as you would in my absence.
All right. May we have a quick overview of recent updates on the Chiesa, Adeline?
Since our last meeting a fortnight ago, the phrase "forever provided" has made a surge in popularity.
What does that even mean?
Funny you should ask, Sovereign Right, as you were the one who said it last rotation.
You were on the news and you were cut off mid-sentence saying "forever provided."
Except out of context and without an end. There's no meaning to the words.
You underestimate the power of the Chiesa. With a little help from our friends here.
The Sovereign Right looks lost. Allow me to explain. You said the words "forever provided" with the intent to continue with your conversation, except the governors pulled the plug on your conversation with the anchor. We realized it to be an opportunity to have our own little slogan. "Forever provided" allows people within the Chiesa to talk with other people, recognizing even the people we may not actually recognize.
A secret password, so to speak.
Why would we need a secret password?
It's a jungle out there, Aries. When you're in public...
You know we don't go in public.
Exactly. But the rest of the Chiesa still has to conduct their own business. The phrase is a way to acknowledge another member of the Chiesa without having to ask or jeopardizing their freedom. Do you mind if we continued, or would you like to stay on topic?
Thank you for indulging me. We can move on.
The Chiesa will be taking the phrase and making it canon.
How do you mean that exactly? Canon?
We are adopting the phrase and making it officially a saying within the Chiesa. At our weekly meetings, the conclusions should incorporate "forever provided."
Like a farewell?
Sure. Or like a blessing of some sort.
How did that entire meeting wind up like that?
I don't understand. What do you mean?
They told you we were doing stuff, and it's like you were completely emasculated. You just accepted every goddamn thing they told you. Like the whole "forever provided" bullshit. How often do they tell you what to do or say? Or do you just nod your head like a fucking child?
I'm sorry. Are you critiquing the modest assembly?
No, I'm critiquing you. Everything I've done since this whole Chiesa bullshit came around has been following you. And now I'm finding out that you're nothing more than a puppet by these 5 people. Or is it 4? I forget.
It's 4 and the honorable are...
There is no need for titles with me, Nicholas. I'm your right hand. Or have you forgotten?
I haven't forgotten.
Who are you that you'd bend a knee to the likes of these people?
Don't. Don't you try to diminish their worth, Aries. Without them, you'd still be the inactive nobody ever knew about.
I liked being the inactive nobody ever knew about. I did all of this shit for you. You. Or so I thought. Now I'm realizing I only ever did this as a pawn. No, a pawn's pawn. You're not important. You're a likable face that they knew would be a pushover.
I'm nobody's pawn.
Then how do you explain them telling you what was going to be said at the weekly meetings?
It was a joint decision.
I was there! There was nothing joint about them telling you how to say 2 words. How many other things have they told you to do that I wasn't even aware of? The christening of the honorable, or justice, or any of the 100 other people that you have since appointed? I can't trust anything you say or do, because I can't trust them.
I understand.
Do you?
I do. I failed you. I failed the Chiesa. You know, the name Chiesa itself was proposed... Hell, maybe it was dictated to me by the modest assembly. Who knows? I failed everyone, succumbing only to their will.
I find it difficult to believe you resigning to my objection.
Believe me, I find it difficult to believe too. Let me ask you a favor tonight.
What?
Let me take what you've said into consideration. I want to make sure I'm not making any irrational decisions.
Decisions about what?
There's so much at stake. And I just want to make sure I'm not just agreeing with you, but that my convictions are factually based. Just tonight, all right? We can talk in the morning.
Okay.
Great. I'll see you bright and early.
Who is it?
Sovereign Right Ares?
Yes? Who are you?
My apologies, sir. We're coming in.
Coming in? Excuse you!
Again, my apologies, Sovereign Right. I have been ordered to take you into safe confinement.
No!
Under no circumstances was I permitted to return without you. Please, come with me.
I was just getting ready to go to bed. Where are you taking me?
I am permitted to say.
You're not permitted to do much, are you?
Right now, no, sir. Please, come with me, or we'll have to forcefully remove you to the safe confinement.
It doesn't appear I have many choices.
No, sir.
Jail? You're putting me in jail?
You are in confinement for your own protection, under the orders of the First Father. You are safe now. Please get some rest.
The First Father is imprisoning me?
He came to me himself and told me to bring you to safe confinement. Yes.
I guess that makes sense.
Good morning, sleepyhead.
I haven't slept a wink since yesterday, thanks to you.
I would have sworn you were just sleeping.
Under the circumstances, you should be glad I'm even breathing. According to your thug, I'm apparently lucky to be alive. I'm in safety confinement. A beautiful alternative to saying I'm in jail.
You really ought to be less dramatic. How did you sleep, really?
I didn't sleep at all. I spent all night wondering why you put me in jail.
And?
At first, I didn't believe it was you who made the order. Then, I realized you gave up your end of the argument yesterday far too easily. You folded like a deck of cards. And now, I'm of the conclusion that you shut that argument down so you didn't have to deal with the fact that you are nothing more than a stooge for the M.A.
I told you I needed a night to consider all the facts. And I'm finding the overwhelming fact to be that you are hindering the growth of the Chiesa. You have been my go-to guy. But recently, you've been nothing shy of obstinate. You've apparently made it your mission to make me your enemy.
I have not.
Let me speak. You had all night to consider, and now it's my turn to add some input. Thank you. I still want you as my right hand. Or my sovereign right, so to speak. You are the wisdom I seek in all decisions for the Chiesa. You had been. I became more reliant on the modest assembly because you seemingly became more and more detached from the current reality.
But
you're here in everything that happens, but you never seem to acknowledge the good. You've been so pessimistic. I can't allow someone so negative to dictate any moves I'm required to make. The MA is a counterbalance to your unfavorable actions. They've cleaned up more messes that you've made than you'd ever know.
Name one.
Name one what?
Mess that I created.
The forever provided bit, for one.
You can't be serious.
You know damn well I'm serious.
The reason I got cut off was because you weren't permitted on the show, and I was the voice of reason. I went and said what you told me to. I wasn't cut off because I was too temperamental. Imagine if you had been there. Ever since you stopped taking your dailies, you have lost all control.
Do I seem out of control right now?
Yes.
And yet, I'm the one on this side of containment. If anything, you have never had control. I think it's about time we helped you build some personal control.
What are you talking about?
I think it's time the governors lose their grasp on you, and you stop taking your dailies. After a few days, I'll check back on you. We need to get you better, and back on track.
You can't be serious.
I couldn't be more serious.
You said you'd always let me make my own decision on the dailies.
You haven't been making those decisions. The governors forced you to take them. I'll see you in a few days. Let's get you well, my friend.
Nicholas! Nicholas!
Ares, what happened to you?
Leona? What are you doing here?
I came to check on you. Nicholas said you were in here in safety confinement.
There isn't anything safe about here, except for the name of the Chiesa.
What are you talking about? Are you okay? You look like shit.
You always had a way with words.
But seriously, what's going on with you? Why do you look so terrible?
They've been withholding my dailies. I'm never hungry anymore. I drink like 3 gallons of water a day. I'm in prison.
You're not in prison. But I thought Nicholas said you could keep taking the dailies. Is he going to start withholding everyone's meds or mine?
I have no idea. Nicholas is losing it, Leona. He's going to kill Calland and everything in it. And the worst part about it is that he'll be under the impression that he's doing it to make everyone better.
Ares, I know you're not feeling well. There's some sort of misunderstanding somewhere down the line. Maybe your caregivers misunderstood their assignment and are withholding your dailies by accident.
No, that is not what's happening. He told me himself that I needed to take control of my life. And his solution to that was to restrict my medicine intake. He thinks that because he hasn't noticed his mood swings, that nobody would get the mood swings he is getting.
I'm so sorry you're here right now. Let me talk to Nicholas. Let me make sure you get better.
You won't hear it. Listen to me. He isn't in charge. He never was. The modest assembly has been puppeting him since who knows when. He's a patsy. The governor has been using him as a tool to take over all of Calland.
Based on what?
Based on having met them the other day. That's when they must have been the ones to decide I get off my dailies.
The MA?
Yeah, they must have heard my protest and decided to let me suffer as a result.
I can't imagine that's how it went down. You're probably dealing with adverse effects. Nicholas never had these signs of sickness when he stopped taking his.
Maybe he was better at hiding it. Or maybe it affects people in different ways. Whatever the case, he's the one who put me in here.
Let me talk to him. I'm sure he'll help once he knows how sick you are.
Like I said before, he won't hear it. But you're welcome to try. He might put you in a cell of your own.
This isn't a cell, Ares. It's a room.
What's the difference?
I'll be back. I promise.
I think we should get married.
What are you talking about? Ares is in captivity and you're talking about getting married.
You're right. Ares is in captivity, but it truly is for his own good. He's sick, or haven't you seen?
It's not like it's contagious.
He may be. We don't know. We haven't seen anyone sick like that in hundreds of years. Poor guy.
He's suffering. All because he's off his dailies.
Oh, no. Is that what he told you? I am so sorry. Leona, no. That isn't at all how it happened. He was showing signs of illness, and we realized his medications were causing him his ailment. We wouldn't stop his medications of our own volition unless we were positive he was sick already.
You keep saying we.
Oh, of course. One of the doctors here, she tested the meds Ares has been taking. Wait, let me take you to her. We'll get this sorted out so you know I'm not lying.
Okay.
Stay tuned for sneak previews for next week's episode of Universe 25. Universe 25 was written, directed, and sound designed by John S. Batcher. Written in collaboration with Alvin Lai and Nathan Woltering. Vocal talents for today's episode by
Maximilian Koger as Ares.
Danny Schuster as Nicholas.
Destiny Patterson as Leona.
Adam Arthur as Guard.
Sherry Keller as Adeline.
And by
Heidi Badger as Lotta.
Casting assistance by Chad Bell. Post-production assistance by S.B. Rupert. And for the intro and outro narration, I'm Richard Braddock. Visit our website, universe25pod.com, for more information, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram for behind-the-scenes content. If you enjoyed this, please consider rating and reviewing this show on your podcast platform of choice. The Universe 25 theme music, 2 to Tango, was created by Joe Blankenberg and used with permission by Position Music. Next week on Universe 25.
So Nicholas was right.
But yours and my betrothal will be incredibly uplifting to people who watch the Chiesa and us blossom.
He may have only had one dose, or He could have been taking it for weeks. We don't know. We'll probably never know.
I urge you to avoid taking your dailies.
I don't know if these are withdrawals or if this is just what it's like to feel emotions, but I don't like it.
Now what?
Hey everybody, John Badger again. I listen to this series every day and I'm continually impressed by the voice talents of all our actors. And embarrassingly enough, they donated their time and talents without any expectation of pay since I wouldn't have been able to afford them. But with your patronage, we can thank all of our talents as they have more than deserved. We would like to thank our first patrons, Melody Campbell, Aiden, Connor Kavanaugh, and Stargate Pioneer. If you'd like to join their ranks and help ensure a season 2, visit universe25pod.com/support to find out how. We are only 26 patrons of any level away from making that happen for as little as $1 a month. If you are not able to support us financially, I totally sympathize and ask if you would mind sharing the show with a friend instead. Word of mouth is always the best way to share the show. And finally, I'll pass this sign off to Shannon McCurley.
However you identify, you are valid, worthy, and loved. On behalf of the Universe 25 team, we'd like to wish everyone a fantastic Pride Month.